Hello and welcome back to Inquisitor Martyr. Last time we ended up dealing with the Harlequin and getting this weird crown for the Alpha Pariah. And now we get to go deal with Fabius Bile.
So, it has come to this. We are in the tainted fortress of the primogenitor that even his own traitorous brothers despise and fear. That's what I was expected to say, right?
I find your increasing cynicism slightly troubling.
So, I was sitting around listening to some podcasts and stuff, and some of the guys were talking about Australia, and this got me thinking. There are places on Earth that are kind of like the realms of chaos. Like, Australia. I would have to say probably Nurgle's realm, for the simple fact that koalas are virus-spreading monsters. Their waste, we'll be nice about it, can spread chlamydia and other STDs simply by being in contact with it. If that doesn't scream Nurgly, I don't know what does. And I was sitting there afterwards thinking, okay, what else is there? You could say, you know, parts of Detroit, parts of Chicago, war zones are the realm of corn, obviously. Vegas would be realm of Slanesh, or at least an area very similar. But from there, it gets tough, especially for Tzeentch. I wouldn't know. There is no real-world equivalent. But I was just floored by that information about, like, koalas. And apparently, some scientists are preserving their DNA since they're an endangered species. And all I could think is, considering how koalas are grossly incompetent to the point where they refuse to eat eucalyptus leaves if they're on a plate because they're too stupid to figure out their eucalyptus leaves unless they are on a branch, you know, maybe they should die off. I mean, they are an evolutionary dead end. It is a sad but real fact about koalas. It's a miracle they're alive. Now, between episodes, I was trying to run some Ordo missions just for fun. Got new staff. We're back to fireballs, but it's pretty good.
No matter how powerful.
I just realized this is supposed to be Fabius Bile's place and it's full of Dark Eldar. Just been running through killing them, just not even processing, like, oh, hey, these aren't the right people.
If you spend your waking hours in laboratories and meditation chambers, it looks like I'm in this room. No, User was not entirely...
Man, just seeing the dialogue saying the proximity of the Dark Nexus. God, that makes me miss Dark Nexus Arena. That was a game that honestly should have been different than what it was. I get it at the time, like, League was really big, so of course, you know, copy-pasting League is gonna be what people attempt. But honestly, if it was different, what I would have done is taken like Space Marine style third-person combat, and then mixed it with, I mean, you know, standard League of Legends fare slash, you know, Battleborn, and I think it would have been a good game. But of course now, I don't think we'll ever see an attempt at a new version of Dark Nexus Arena. Part because, you know, Battle Royales are still all the rage, so MOBAs are on the back burner. But also, I think people will look at it, at least developers will look at it and say, oh, the first iteration failed, and assume it's just because of a lack of interest as opposed to, honestly, a lack of everything else. Like, I found out about the game by being, I can't even remember what website I was on, but I was on a random website and they mentioned Dark Nexus Arena there. And I was like, what is that? And I looked into it and went, oh, it's a 40K MOBA. I wish I had known sooner. And I think that was part of the problem, is just nobody knew the game existed. And then, of course, the obvious, not very creative of a design.
Kill the monkey and take that creature.
I will enjoy watching you try.
You might have defeated my brother, but you should fear me.
Your brother?
She is right.
I don't.
Oh, that's a hell of a cool start. They instantly attack and I die.
That was the last of the Drakari raid.
Can you finally move along and kill that wretched Fabius Isle? Fate awaits.
Not before we purge this entire area.
Wow, that was a whole lot of blues and greens.
It will be my pleasure.
But yeah, Dark Nexus Arena, I think it has potential, because you can do literally anything. Hell, you could, if you want to, you could just make it a Space Marine style third-person shooter. You can make the maps as big as you want and be like, oh yeah, some layer in Camorra, they just have it set up for big, large-scale arena fights. You know, you can get away with anything. That's what kind of just kills me, is you have... There's creative freedom, surprisingly, with Games Workshop in stuff like that, where it's like, there's never been a set thing that says like, oh, the arenas available are only this big by this big. You can put whatever you want, wherever you want.
That the Drakari were following this whispering god. That puts them in the same league as your treacherous.
First, she was only a loose acquaintance. Secondly, such cooperation is not unheard of, although it is a fairly recent occurrence. Various Eldar and Dark Eldar groups are combining their forces to join that mysterious cult.
I find this development most troubling.
Says the Inquisitor, who's on his way to fulfill an ancient prophecy.
One thing too with Dark Nexus was they didn't have enough characters. It was like... I'm trying to think who they had. They had an orc, they had a space marine... I mean, I know there was more than two. I can't even remember, but it was not a good choice. Like a good selection. I'm just sitting here drawing a blank. Like, I played it. I picked a few characters. It just was not that memorable. That's such a big problem too, is just a lot of these games, this can be said about everywhere in the industry, they're just not memorable because everybody's trying to do the same thing. So it's like you hear a name and it's like, oh yeah, I remember playing that. And someone will be like, oh, how was it? And your mind just goes blank. You're like, it was a game. I remember that. Like, that's why I'm happy Space Marine 2 hopefully will stay the same, because, you know, Space Marine played differently from a lot of stuff. Oh boy, this isn't gonna suck.
What are we waiting for then? I have a destiny to fulfill, remember?
We need to regroup the ship. Then we can storm Biles innocently.
Not a lot of good loot out of that. I think the captain that I killed dropped something good, though. Honestly, this implant isn't that good. The damage reduction for melee is kind of bad. Trigger Thunderbolt of Authority when you have an energy shield active. The problem is, the implant I have gives me an energy shield, so that becomes moot.
Are you ready?
I'm not worried about Fabius Bile. I'm more...
I must warn you.
I know exactly...
We are in Bile's laboratory, the pulsing black heart of this accursed labyrinth.
Let's end this. Kill Fabius Bile so I can enter the great beyond.
Your task is to close the dark nexus. Nothing else.
Let's sit here and think for a minute. Let's take Dark Nexus Arena and upgrade, fix it, revive it, whatever you want to think of it as. There's two ways you could do characters. You either do generics,
What a vile display.
or you do named heroes. Named heroes runs the risk of, you know, you're gonna have to create new characters, otherwise, you know, what are these people doing here in effectively Dark Eldar territory? That said, it's not that big of a deal. You can make a ton of characters. That's pretty simple. The other option being you do generics with like a class attached to them. So, you know, Space Marine, you can pick a Scout, an Assault, a Devastator, a Terminator, an Apothecary, a Psyker, so a Librarian. You know, whatever you wish. That way, you can spread it out even further, because then you can go almost into a subclass and have like, oh, I'm going to be a Chaos Space Marine who's going to be Thousand Suns. Okay. You're an improved Psyker. That would be pretty simple. Then the way you monetize it, obviously, is selling skins. Okay, that was cool. I get this guy's flimsy, but there's something about... Hey, game? I got locked out of the fight. What is this? Okay. Fight Fabius Bile, except we're gonna lock you out the second you die. Good luck. Now that I think about it, that Thunderbolt command, I could have used it. Because I can swap my fire shield ability to an actual shield bubble. I don't know what to do about this. I'll be back. Okay, one restart later and we're back here. Let's try not to die and get shunted out of the room. That'd be real neat not to have that happen again. But I mean, doing generic classes does allow for a lot of customization. Because then you could have, like, class-specific weapons, like, oh, if you're a Chaos Demon, or not Chaos Demon, a, Chaos Space Marine, and you're using, like, Terminator armor, you get access to certain gear you can equip. You know, tier 1, 2, 3, whatever you want to do for tiers. And that would make it interesting. It provides a solid amount of build variety, but then it becomes a matter of, if you're doing flat league style, that's reliant on giving players different abilities, which you obviously wouldn't have. So then it becomes, where do you go from there? If you do like a straight up Space Marine style, you can do this easy. You know, because then all you're doing is changing a weapon and its attack animations. You could still do something. There's options, the more I think about it. Just trying to think, because if you're doing a standard league style, a big thing is the maps don't really change. You're not as beholden to them, but you could still mix it up.
I will have her back.
Tiberius wanted to send her against the world. You wanted to use her to destroy the Imperium of Man.
Like all my other selves roaming this dying galaxy, I have exercised my genius to make my name immortal. If I can cause the fall of your corpse, Emperor, it will be a charming addition.
just thinking general characters, like, you'd have Space Marines, Chaos Space Marines, Eldar, Dark Eldar, Orcs.
Force to manipulate.
You have
Could probably do Tau, Necrons. Necrons would be a pretty interesting one. You couldn't really do Tyranids. Because, I mean, because they're Tyranids. If you're doing kind of the lore for, like, Dark Nexus, how do you keep them from just eating everything? But I mean, you could have a lot of characters, and then, like with Space Marines, the easiest thing would be for every, like, if you're like, oh, you can have a character and they're part of the Ultramarines, then you can have every successor chapter as cosmetics. You could do different armor styles as part of the cosmetics. Hey, I got something that was fancy. Some Arden armor and maybe a weapon?
This is the end, then. At least for this clone of the foul Fabius Bile.
what you consider the end is a new beginning for me. Keep on fighting.
If anyone can hear me, this is my farewell. I am the Alpha Pariah. I am the Anathema Ultima. I am on the Martyr, flying into the Dark Nexus. I can feel the surge of endless possibilities. Uther was right. The Immaterium must be reshaped, ruled. There is no other way to survive the dark times. I am ready.
Sensor readings confirm that the Dark Nexus has closed.
The plan worked.
I wonder if the Alpha Pariah survived the collapse of the anomaly.
Her unique nature will protect her from the Immaterium. And don't forget that the machine spirit of the Martyr will follow the protocols and keep her safe.
I know that she was not to blame, but her presence made our skins crawl. It might be better for her out there.
The unfortunate side effect of being a pariah.
What will become of her now?
Only the Emperor knows. She might become our greatest ally against the Chaos. She could become the greatest ally of Chaos. And maybe nothing will happen. We will probably never know, Captain.
But yeah, there's a lot you could do with Dark Nexus, but there's a lot you'd have to kind of hammer out early on. And the ending of this, since this is the end of Prophecy, makes me wonder what they're gonna do for the Sisters of Battle DLC. Because I don't know what story you can do. Are they gonna have the Alpha Pariah return? Because I don't know how you would really have that character return easily, mind you. They could always bring him back in a million ways. But, I don't know. It'll be interesting. But, that is all for now. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit the like button. It helps out the channel a lot. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.